Did you ever have to make someone an extra large hot coffee, 41 sugars, less skim milk, stirred until it's the right color? Nope, just me. Okay, so I actually used to almost do that every day. 10 years ago, in fact, I worked at Dunkin Donuts for about a year. And if you don't believe me, I'm gonna insert a clip of me, doing some late night shenanigans.
Slow down, grab, throw up, wiggle like you're trying to make your ass fall off.
But yeah, honestly, it was probably one of the most memorable but weirdest jobs I've ever worked in my life. From, me eating free donuts all the time to customers stealing from the tip jar, demanding free, like 3 free dozen donuts, and actually getting the chance to meet a fortune teller and be told my fortune. Yeah, it doesn't get any weirder than that. So if you ever thought about working at Dunkin', or you just want to know what it's actually like, today I'm going to be discussing the pros and cons of my experience working at Dunkin' Donuts, but also sprinkle in some stories here and there. Okay, let's start off the video on a positive note. So, one of my favorite things about working at Dunkin' was actually getting the chance to try free drinks and free food. And luckily, I could eat whatever I want there. My boss was really chill about that. And that was probably one of the cooler parts where I got the chance to try some of the new menu items. And still to this day, I think that butter pecan swirl is still the best and my favorite sweet flavor. Because there was the unsweetened and then there's the sweetened flavors. So the unsweetened flavors I like, or they call it the shots. I like the toasted almond shot flavor. Okay, another pro would be whenever it wasn't busy at Dunkin', it was really, really chill. And whenever it was chill, I used to actually use the milk cartons that the delivery truck would give us, and I would sit on it, and then I would just be watching anime. Honestly, half of my shift there, so it was pretty cool. Okay, and then another unexpected pro is I think the uniforms were low-key kind of cute. I'm not talking about the one with the visor and the apron. I thought that was kind of whack. My boss, he gave us these like brown thick sweaters, and they had like the small Dunkin' Donuts logo. And let me tell you, those sweaters were so freaking warm and cozy, and they were like really, really cute looking. And I think after I left Dunkin', I still used that sweater, and my mom started using it too. And I was gonna wear it, but I don't know where it is. So I was really bummed out about that. I don't know where my sweater is. I think also learning how to make the different types of drinks, I thought that was kind of cool because before I only knew about hot coffee. I started hearing about iced coffee, but I didn't know how to make it. So I thought that was really cool. I got the chance to learn how to make that, like the cooladas and the Dunkachinos. Now I know the difference between a cappuccino and a macchiato, or as one customer said it, a mojito. Okay, another pro that I would say, surprisingly for me even as an introvert, is actually talking with the regulars that were really nice. I've had a lot of wholesome conversations with them, and it was always nice hearing updates about their life. Okay, now this is the part that a lot of people probably want to hear about. I mean, just as people nowadays, we're just so drawn to negative things. So I'm gonna get into the cons. So I think the first con I would say is the overwhelming shifts. And I don't think this applies to every single Dunkin' Donuts, but I used to work Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. But there were some days that nobody could work Saturday nights, so I actually used to work here and there 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. And oh my gosh, I can't believe I still remember those shift times. And let me tell you, for anybody that's working on Dunkin' Donuts right now, if your boss ever asks you to work like a morning shift, especially Saturday morning, I highly recommend saying no. The mornings are the worst, I feel, because not only are people cranky because they just woke up, they didn't get their coffee, and it's super, super busy. Okay, another con is I think how your shift is gonna go really depends on who your coworker is that day. And I didn't really know how bad it was, or I didn't really learn this until I started working at Dunkin'. So I don't know if I mentioned this yet. My sister actually used to work in Dunkin' Donuts, the same location where I worked at. So those shifts were really, really fun. Shifts went by so fast. But those days, especially on the weekdays where I would work with somebody else and they were just so lazy, I'm telling you, like it felt like forever. Like those shifts were honestly the worst. And I don't know if this applies to every location, but for mine, after a certain time, usually in the mornings, it's a lot of people. But I think it was after 1 o'clock, it would usually just be me and one other person working the whole store. So it was a lot doing the drive-through, doing like taking care of the customers to front, making the drinks, making the food, and then you had to refill things, you had to clean stuff. Like, it was a lot for 2 people.
Another con that's kind of obvious, especially not only to the fast food industry, but customer service, is the rude customers. I think that you're always going to run into rude customer, no matter what customer service job you work. It's just bound to happen, you just meet everybody. Okay, so a rude customer story that I have. So let's start with one. So my sister actually took this order. So it was a guy, he was ordering through the drive-thru. He asked, "Oh, can I have a sour cream donut?" And me personally, all my time I worked at Dunkin Donuts, I have never seen a sour cream donut, nor have I ever tasted it. So I've always wanted to, because he wasn't the only one that was asking for sour cream donuts. Everybody else was asking, but we just never had them, or they were like kind of like a rare donut to have. So my sister was like, "Oh no, sorry, we don't sell those anymore, or we don't have them right as of this moment." And he's like, "Okay, can I get a double chocolate donut?" And then my sister's like, "Sorry, we don't have that either." He's like, "Oh, okay, can I have a peanut butter jelly sandwich?" And then she's like, "Oh, sorry, we don't sell that." And then he's like, "Okay, then what do you even fucking sell?" And then at this point, this is like late in the shift, so my sister's tired, so she tells him, "Sir, we sell donuts because this is Dunkin' Donuts." And my reaction, because I'm hearing this whole conversation in my headset, and I'm just like, and then the guy's like, "Yeah, I know, I'm not fucking stupid." I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be bad. She was like, "Okay, then like, what do you want to order?" And then he's like, then he starts listing a bunch of big like orders, like, "Oh, I want 5 turkey egg and cheese sandwich, I want a 2 dozen donuts, I want 5 large smoothies, strawberry smoothies," and then she's like, "Okay, you can pull," and then like he already drove off. And then I was like, okay, that was weird. Another one was involving my sister. Oh my gosh, girl. I just realized. No, but she honestly, like, it sounds bad, but she was more than valid to feel this way, because I don't even think I am fully telling how bad or rude the customer was. Like, these people were really nasty and rude. So the second one, it was same through with the drive-thru. We had just a lot of rude customers in the drive-thru. So it was this lady. I took her order actually, and then by the time she pulled up, I was the one doing the cash register. I was like, "Okay, this is your total." And then my sister's the one making the drink. So it was like this like strawberry like lemonade drink. I forgot what it was called. Anyway, it had like pieces of strawberries you can put in the drink. My sister finished making the drink, and then I gave it to her, and she was like, "Oh, what is that?" And I was like, "What?" And I'm like, I thought there was like syrup on the cup. So I was like, "What?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then she said, "You don't see that? What?" And I'm like, now I'm confused. And she's like, why are the strawberries floating at the top like that?" And then she's like, "I'm not gonna drink that. Make my order again." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she actually did these hand movements. So I told my sister, I was like, "Oh, okay, 1 moment, please." And then I told my sister, I was like, "Hey, the lady at the drive-thru, she said like she can't drink this because the strawberries float at the top. I don't know if we have to make it again." And then my sister's like, "Hold on." And then she walks through the drive-thru, and then she opens it. She's like, "Ma'am, I heard there was a problem." And then the lady was like, "Yeah, make my drink again, because why the fuck are the strawberries at the top like that?" Like, she's talking about it's floating, even though it's like closed and stuff. And then my sister is like fed up with this lady. And the thing is, this lady was a regular. She was somebody that would always come in every Saturday and cause trouble. This was a thing she would always do all the time. This was not like a case, like a one case situation. So my sister was just fed up with this lady. So then she was like, "Well, I don't know if you ever heard of Buoyancy, but that's why the strawberries float at the top. It's basic science." And then she just closed the drive-thru window or door in her face, and I'm just like sitting there like, I was like, "Girl, you did not just do that." And then the lady was livid. I mean, she was like mad. She started banging on the drive-thru door. And then my manager was there, and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then the lady's like, "Let me talk to that girl. Where is that bitch? Like, she is so fucking rude." And then my boss like, "What happened?" And then my sister told him. And then this is where I'm like, bro, I was trying to tell my boss, like, this lady always causes us problems. Like, she's always trying to cause problems and get free stuff all the time. And then him, I guess, being a boss, he's like, "Oh, just apologize and something." So my sister, she gave the most fake ass apology ever. She's like, "I'm sorry." And then the lady was like, I don't fucking believe you. Like, and then she's like, hold on, give me one moment. So then she pulls up to the front, she enters the store, and she's like, give me 3 free fucking dozen donuts right now. Fill that shit up right now. And I'm just like, what the fuck is like wrong with her and stuff? And you would think like, we'll give you a refund and you can order another drink, but we ain't not gonna give you 3 free dozen donuts. And guess what my boss did? He gave her the 3 free dozen donuts. I was like, oh my gosh. I was just like, why? But I'm like, hey, as long as she gets out and I don't gotta deal with her, then whatever. So yeah, unfortunately, those were one of the regulars I did not enjoy talking to. But yeah, I think that's enough rude customer stories, because if I talked any more, this video is gonna be like 100+ hours long. So there would be people when they pay, and I'd be like, you're kind of short. You need like, 25 more cents. So what they would do is that they would take money out of the tip jar, give it to me as payment, and it clearly says tip jar, and I'm like, what? So then I take the money, I put it back in the tip jar. I'm like, bro, that's the tip jar, you can't use it. And then he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know, whatever. So another con is, if you work late night shifts, just be careful. Another thing that I mentioned in the beginning was, there was actually one time that a fortune teller lady came, and she had like a whole intro. She came in being like, oh, I can see that it is a beautiful day. It is going to be good for all you guys. And I'm just like, is she talking to me? Like, who's she talking to? And she's like, you right there. You are very blessed. You are blessed. I sense this place is very blessed. Good things will come here this way. Let me read your fortune and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, like I don't really mess with this stuff. But my coworker, she was really interested. So she's just reading our fortune teller saying like, I'm gonna get married and have a bunch of kids. I was like, oh, okay, because at that time I didn't have a boyfriend. So I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna get married and stuff. But then I was like, okay, maybe she's just saying generic stuff. But the thing that weirded me out the most was when she got to my coworker. I'm not gonna say it on camera because it is personal stuff. So my coworker went through something really traumatic, and for some reason the fortune teller went to her and was like, I can see a lot of great pain in your eyes, like, and then she told my coworker, oh, has you gone through this? And then she like blurs it out, like, and talks about it. And then you can see my coworker crying. She's like, oh my god, yes, like that did happen to me. Like, and it's not like generic things like, oh, everybody goes to that. It's like something very specific. So because of that, my coworker was just like emotional. And then, because of that, so she actually gave the fortune teller free food. Like, she, I think, just got like a cup of coffee and like some donuts. And then the fortune teller lady left, was like, oh, thank you again, ladies. I wish you good luck and blessings in life. And then she left, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? What just happened? Weird. That was probably the weirdest interaction that I had. And then I remember she said at the end, she's like, don't tell anybody about this. So I felt low-key scared. I didn't want to tell nobody, but I'm like, fuck it, like, I didn't say exactly what her fortunes was specifically or who she was, so please, no like wishing curses on me, please. So but yeah, that I just thought that like interaction was like pretty interesting and weird. So I've been yapping for about almost half an hour now. At the end of the day, customer service jobs are never easy, and I honestly think that every single person should have the chance to work at least one type of customer service job in their life. You will really learn a lot of things. This job will really humble you, and you really meet all kinds of people, and it really teaches you how to be patient. Would I work at Dunkin Donuts again? No. But do I regret it? Oh, absolutely not. I definitely don't regret working at Dunkin Donuts. I learned a lot, and it gave me memories that I will actually never forget. Yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope y'all have a good morning, afternoon,